There is power in your perspective, and this is a writing that I just did. The lens in which you view life is a projection of your beliefs and opinions. Get very clear on what you want out of life and what you love, and embody that feeling habitually. Your perspective of life is only yours and will only ever be yours. You are the first and last person to live this life, so do not let other people's truth write your future. The future is not written by the past. The future is written by your actions today. History only repeats itself because people refuse to learn and grow. It is easier to live in lack and scarcity than it is to face your fears, take risks, and unlearn negative habits and thinking patterns, because with the loss of your old self comes the loss of familiarity and the birth of unknown and surrender. If you know exactly what you want, it is already yours, because your desires are yours for a reason and has everything to do with what will ultimately make life heaven on earth for you, as heaven is a state of mind and being. And you are everything because you are an embodiment of Source. Therefore, so are your desires. You are equal once you acknowledge it. Yes, your friends and family and even your teachers want the best for you, but at what point are you going to realize that people only give advice, judge, and ask questions from the level of life they've experienced and perceived? For example, a lion cannot teach a fish to swim. A fish cannot build ant hills. All of these embodiments of life and spirit have their own unique perceptions and ways of doing things that cannot possibly help the other. They live in the same realm, but in three different realities, three different sets of dreams, wants, and needs. They don't try to guide each other because they are not conscious of each other's purpose for existing. Humans try to reason with everything. But just because we live in the same realm and speak the same language does not mean we will live and have the same reality or are meant to. Therefore, if they have not experienced your dreams or even their own, their advice is limited by their perspective as well. This is contagious and keeps generations of healers, artists, mediums, and teachers at bay, crushed by societal standards and realistic ideologies. Systems are made to distract, exploit, and exhaust. At what point will you realize that you are an embodiment of pure light, energy, and source, and you can control the system in which you live in the same way that the government set up systems in which we live in, right? They set up banks, jobs, corporate, all of that. What makes you think that you don't have the same power as the same person that set up the job that you have? Why do you think that you don't have the same power to set up your dream life when they've already set up their dream life and you're continuing to support it? Act accordingly. The same source that created the world exists within you and naturally wants to create the best life possible for you so that you can fulfill your purpose, which is to evolve, teach, love, and share. You only have what you believe you are, even if your reality is that you are poor and hopeless. You will only have that because that is the lens in which you view yourself and your life. You are not what you have, you only have what you are, which could be abundance if you choose to believe that no matter what the physical portrays to you. Let's meditate on that for a second while I tell you guys a quick story time. So, this past December, we had Christmas, and it's a tradition in my family that we have a Christmas dinner at one of our family members' house. And in my community on Discord, I actually just made a community on Discord. If you want to check the link in my bio, I was talking about how these traditions, I'm not sure if they're primarily in the Black culture or not, but these traditions within my family, anyways, and how it feels like with these holidays is kind of forced to set us up around a system of consuming and reprogramming, or yeah, programming, consuming. And I feel like these holidays put me in environments with people that I wouldn't be in otherwise. And I feel like the enemy, which is really an embodiment of my fears and limited beliefs, is within these people that I'm not in alignment with, but I'm being forced to share an engagement with because the only thing we have in common is blood. And it feels like it's a projection of myself, of my insecurities. And I say this because I had a cousin kind of speaking down on my choice of major in college. And she was like, "Oh, what can you do with that major?" And it brought up a feeling of doubt in me because I've never actually encountered somebody in my life where they don't see the value in what I'm doing. And it's like, it's so crazy. You can come across people that literally know nothing about you, but because you're related, they think they know what's best for you or what's best for the world. And so they try to like project their own limited ideologies onto you, but they literally know nothing about you. And it's like you could literally be talking to a future millionaire, and it's like, imagine if Steve Jobs went to like a Thanksgiving dinner and his uncle talked him out of creating a business, like, and that uncle didn't know anything about Steve Jobs, like, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of pissed me off for a second. And it was like I knew, like, I already know that I am designing my own reality. Like, I live every day following my excitement, you know? At least I try to. And I guess coming into interaction with her kind of brought up like some stuck feelings that need to be brought up. Because I do feel like the people that are in our environments that we're familiar with are meant to push us further, not necessarily meant for us to leave them behind or treat them any kind of way. But I think your environments are always meant to push you, or they should. And there should be no environment that you're so comfortable in, you don't want to grow outside of that. And like, you don't have to contain yourself to one community or ideology or way of living just because that's the way your family did it or that's the way your friends do it. Like, you literally have to be your own person. And we're not really taught to be our own person. We're taught to be amongst the crowd, you know? I just want to remind people that there's power in their perspective, and nobody knows at the end of the day what you go to sleep dreaming about. Nobody knows the conversations that you have with God or the source. Nobody knows, like, but you. And it'll only ever be you and your ancestors that are living within you and trying to get you to tell stories, and the feelings that are trying to be alchemized, but you're resisting it because Aunt Sally told you to 3 years ago at Christmas dinner, and you've internalized that. And we have to, I say we because including myself, we have to walk our path with confidence and realize the power in our perspective. And like, it is so much power in your perspective. And once you acknowledge that and embody it, it it just magnifies you, and it gravitates you towards situations, people, places, things that are constantly pushing you to grow and are constantly appreciating your value. But it'll always also kind of bring up the limited beliefs that you thought you conquered. It'll pop back up in your reality somewhere to remind you, like, hey, like, I'm still here. This is triggering you because this is something that you still low key identify with. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Please remember that there is power in your perspective, and please join my Discord community. Let me not beg, that was crazy. Please, but no, for real, I have a Discord community that I started as a community aspect for my art business, and it is where I kind of share my esoteric thoughts. And I have like a art dump channel, and I have a resources channel. Like, I literally will send like interviews I've seen, artists I come across, people send like stuff to fashion. It's just creatives, and it has everything to do with art and wellness and trying to navigate the creative spaces as at whatever age you are, but trying to navigate it authentically and making sure that, you know, your desires are being tended to, because your desires and your callings will always circle back no matter how hard you try to resist them. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.